Hello, this is Grant Hughes of Grant Hughes Investigates on YouTube. Please hit that like button, share the video, and subscribe. Well, as we all know by now, law enforcement has put out surveillance footage in the Nancy Guthrie disappearance case, where it appears that she was attacked inside of her home. And we've got the surveillance footage, and we also have new information that I always thought was true, is that the blood trail from the front door goes all the way out to the driveway. It was reported that it stops right there on the patio, but Fox News has video evidence that there were blood droplets that go all the way to the driveway. Now, the new footage that we're looking at right now is it was just put out there. Kash Patel put out footage, and there was also images put out there on his X account, or formerly known as Twitter, as I seem to keep calling it. All right, so if you look at this image right here, you can see right there, there's a gun and a holster in the front of his body. This is one of the images that they released. And this one right here is an intriguing image. This is the same person. He doesn't have the backpack on. So let's go back here. See how there's the backpack strap, the balaclava on his head. You can barely see his eyes in this one. It's night vision. And he's got black gloves on that appear to be some sort of, latex or maybe some shiny leather. I don't really know what they're made of. They seem like they're more plastic, though. And then you can see his shoes down there. He's got a kind of a thick top on, some sort of a maybe fleece jacket and pants. All right. So if we go to the next image, we'll just play this again. This one, he does not have the backpack on. And the gun that you can see that actually went further down, it might be in his pocket over here, or it might be in the backpack that we don't see. So I think this image right here is prior. I think if you go pan out like that, this is the patio. He's probably standing right at the patio, and he's looking over at the Ring doorbell camera and can see it there. And then at this point, he turns around and goes back. Now, these lights over here are actually from a house in the background over there. It's not coming from a vehicle or anything like that. It's really dark. So his vehicle is probably off to the left over here, maybe. And he is just observing the front door. And I think there's probably video of him walking up to here and then turning around and going this direction. And then he grabs his backpack and he puts the gun in front because it's go time now. And then I think he goes to the front of the house to remove the camera. And then you might ask yourself, well, why would he remove the camera? He's already got the mask on, etc. And, the cameras do pick up audio, so it could be something to do with audio that somebody mentioned on my live stream earlier. Or it could be that he doesn't want to be seen doing what they're doing. They're going to be taking Nancy out the front here. Now, what's weird is he doesn't seem to have known what he was going to do when he confronted the camera, if he was aware that it existed, because he grabbed some grass off the ground. You just saw him reach over there and pick it up, and he goes over and he tries to put it onto the camera itself. So if we rewind it a little bit, right here, you can even make out his face sometimes. Right there, it's in the background. And there he is. He's got a light in his mouth. And he tries to put it on the light, but it just didn't work. And, eventually he just drops it on the ground. And that's interesting that it's just dropped on the ground. If you look at the Brian Enton News Nation video, what people still aren't mentioning for some unknown reason is that this is expirated blood spatter right here with droplets. That means Nancy's head or face was somewhat near the ground here and likely coughed up and then dripped blood. So she likely was alive when she was taken out. But notice in the upper left-hand corner right there, this is the same plant that he was trying to put onto the camera. And you can see part of it even right there. It didn't make it onto there. And this is the camera location that he ended up disconnecting. And as we know by the documents, it was disconnected at 1:47. So it's likely that he disconnected that camera before ever entering the home. We see that other image where he doesn't have his backpack on, so that must be before that even. So I think the suspect, and make no mistake about it, they call this a subject, a person of interest. This person right here is responsible for the abduction and injuring of Nancy Guthrie. You know, was there somebody else with him? We don't know, but this person absolutely is involved. This is not a person of interest. It's not a suspect. This is absolutely the person. Okay, 100%. That's where the camera was. And there might be another person, but they're 100% involved. And there's video, if you go out to Fox News, it actually tracks the blood down the patio all the way to the driveway, and there's even some spots of blood right next to the 2 little steps that drop down. So if we go to Google Earth and we look at it, let's just go, I don't think Street View works in their driveway, but right here, see these 2 steps? They have blood droplets right here, and the ones that we see on News Nation are back up inside there on the patio. So that's at 1:47, it's disconnected, and that looks like that's around the time it was disconnected. So it looks like that the time that we're seeing on the video, we don't have a time frame, but it's right around 1:47, you would think. But apparently the killers or kidnappers entered the house back here, and you know, it looks like there was signs of forced entry on a back door right there. And there is a light right above here that is a floodlight. And that one was the one that was damaged. So was that done earlier? We don't know. There's a lot of interesting elements here. At 1:47, they may have affected the ring camera in the front. And then we don't know if they went back over here and then also took out the floodlights. And then we see that at 2:12, there is motion captured on a camera, but there's no video associated with that. So is that video that they're still trying to get access to? I don't think that that is the front door at 2:12. That wouldn't make any sense, because we already know that the Ring doorbell, or the Ring camera, was disconnected. It's actually a Nest camera. So the doorbell camera was disconnected at 1:47. So that means the footage that we're seeing has to be right around that time frame. The 2:12 time frame is another camera that picked up motion, and we might just ask, like, where is that camera? What part of the house? And it kind of makes you wonder, did they enter the house later? So maybe they prepped the house for entry and then entered the house more around the 2:12 time frame and then left at 2:28. And that would sort of explain why, you know, we have this 41-minute gap, and we're just kind of wondering what the heck they're doing in there. But if you narrow it down to 2:12 to 2:28, it makes a little bit more sense. So maybe they were outside getting the house ready for entry and minimizing any sort of surveillance or, you know, any other elements that might cause them problems. Let's go back to the surveillance footage. And again, this is where he's putting on the plant, trying to get it to stick to the camera. It's not really working. And this is a weird one. He's ducking down. It almost seems like he's trying to avoid being able to be height detected, you know, like he's hunched down, where it makes it a lot harder to figure out how tall he is. Because right there, if he was standing up, you'd be able to tell almost precisely how tall he is, but he's hunched over. It's pretty interesting. All right, here's one of the photographs that was released. They've obviously enhanced it, made it quite a bit brighter. There's another one that they made brighter. He's got the flashlight in his mouth. You can see his eyes. He definitely has a mustache in one of the images. And it's playing right now. Now, when you see his hand like that, he's not punching anything. He's just kind of moving his hand over. So I don't know when precisely they removed the camera. Maybe they have a little additional video that shows it being removed. But see right there, you can definitely see that there's a mustache on him. It's right there. It's right above the lip. The eyebrows are up underneath the balaclava, but you can maybe see the bottom of them. There's the gun right there. Be interesting to find out what type of holster that is. There's probably some gun experts out there that might know that. And again, we've got that same shot where he doesn't have the backpack on. So this is before. I think this is maybe, I'm just going to guess, maybe 3 or 4 minutes before, maybe even 5, before you see him with the backpack and the gun in front. He's ready to go. Nobody was moving. And this is before, and then he goes up, and then that's when he tries to block the view of the camera. And that's when he tries to minimize himself being viewed. Now right here is the video of him. It doesn't look like he's pounding on anything. It looks like he has his hand over there. He might be trying to remove it, but it almost just seems like he's blocking something at that point. So that when he saw that, he goes, okay, let me see. So there's also sort of a level of unpreparedness in this video. You see him sort of ad hoc, sort of coming up with a random way to block the camera. You would think if he was aware that there was a camera there, they would have all of that portion planned out. It could be that he was absolutely aware that there was a camera there, but he just kind of, on the fly came up with a way to block it. And that's the same plant material that you see in the Brian Enton video on the ground. And this is a close-up of him trying to put those plants onto the camera. There might be more on the video. I'm sort of zoomed in a little bit. Like that. Man, these are the creepiest images. Just absolutely wild. And there he is again, walking down, hunched over. And it does make you think that he's hunching intentionally so that it's hard to figure out how tall he is. And that would really show a level of knowledge, coming into an arch like that, knowing how simple it would be to measure the height of the opening of the archway. And then if you're standing up straight, right when he steps onto those first tiles, you would just be able to mathematically, using percentages, figure out how tall he is. Okay, and as we speak, there are people moving around in Annie's neighborhood again, going door to door. So it is interesting that they keep focusing in on that area. So it's hard to separate the two, right? It's hard to separate the fact that they're still searching in areas near Annie's house, which is 3 miles away. It's kind of out of the way. It's nowhere near this location. So it would make you think that there's movement. They believe that there's an association with the person here on camera with possibly Annie's house. Okay? I think that's something that is known by them. And what I think might be going on here is some sort of a hired hit of some sort, and that the portion related to the ransom that we were hearing about is just a red herring. And it might not even be a red herring set up by the people who did this. It just might be a random person trying to extort money from Savannah Guthrie, given what's going on here. It would be interesting to do that, though, because if this person actually had her alive and presented her before or let her go or something like that, before the random ransom attempt, that person wouldn't get anything, and you would absolutely know that they were fake. But in this circumstance, they weren't able to prove proof of life. They weren't able to prove that to the family, etc. And now we might have to look at that as that was just another random person trying to extort money. And then we just look at this case as maybe this person was hired by somebody else to do this. It's not likely that it is a random person breaking and entering, Because why would he need to remove Nancy's body? Doesn't make a lot of sense. Now, if it was for hire, you might ask the same question, but maybe you didn't want to have the body around knowing that another family member is going to have to see that Nancy's body's on the ground inside the house. And one thing is Nancy was still alive after exiting the house. I don't know how alive. I mean, she might have been unconscious or whatever, but she definitely coughed up blood right there next to the door. Okay, so let me know in the comments what you guys think. There's all kinds of different things people can look at. The type of backpack he's wearing, the type of holster the gun has, the type of gloves. The pants are a little difficult. It's like those are, could be any kind of pair of pants that sort of looks like that. I mean, there's so many. The jacket you might be able to determine. The balaclava, when we see the close-up shot with the woven texture on there, you might be able to find something similar to that. Does look like he has a mustache, and maybe there's features about his eyes that people might find interesting. All right, so that is going to do it for this video. We'll definitely keep looking into the information, putting all the pieces of the puzzle together, but I think it's going to be something close to home. I think the person here in this video has some sort of a connection with somebody in the Guthrie family. That's what I think. Might not be any of that at all, but that's what I think. So let me know in the comments what you guys think. This is absolutely turned into, it's been crazy. It just got crazier, but it's very interesting. All right, so thanks for watching, everybody. And as I always say, until next time, be safe out there.